If you are a leader who prides yourself on never having conflict with your team, you might be the most toxic person in your organization. Sounds harsh, right? It is supposed to. Why? Because we have been sold a massive lie about what makes a great leader. The lie is that a peaceful team is a healthy team. It is not. A team without conflict is not peaceful. It's numb. And if you are the one keeping them numb, you are slowly destroying the very people you think you are protecting. Hello and welcome to All Things Leadership podcast on The Learner, where we learn the day-to-day challenges of leaders, how to navigate through leadership complexities. Simply put, how to be an efficient leader at work, at home, and everywhere else in between. Over 500 years ago, in his book, The Prince, Niccolò Machiavelli wrote a warning that most modern leaders completely misunderstand. He said that all cruelty is not the same. He argued that a leader who fails to strike down a threat out of misplaced mercy isn't actually being kind. I'll say it again. A leader who fails to strike down a threat out of misplaced mercy is not actually being kind. He is simply postponing the pain and ensuring that when it finally arrives, it will be devastating. Let that sink in, because we are going to learn quite a bit from Machiavelli's rather controversial principles today. In modern-day corporates, you don't have armies or physical threats. You have standards, deadlines, and behavior. When you watch an employee underperform, act disrespectfully, or slack off, and you choose to say nothing because you want to keep the peace, you aren't keeping the peace. You are surrendering. You are committing the exact mistake Machiavelli warned against. You are showing misplaced mercy to the wrong person. And who pays the price for your surrender? It's never the person causing the problem. It's always your best people. Think about the brutal logic of what happens when you avoid friction. If someone on your team is doing half the work and you never confront them, you have just silently told your top performers that working hard is a waste of time. You have made their effort meaningless. You didn't avoid conflict. You just outsourced your discomfort onto the people who actually care about their jobs. That is not kindness. Yeah, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but that is managerial cowardice. You are sacrificing the team's standards so you don't have to feel awkward for 5 minutes. Human beings do not respect a leader who refuses to protect the environment. They tolerate them. And Machiavelli understood that tolerance is a very thin layer of ice over deep, dangerous water. But the larger question is, why do leaders hide from this? It almost always comes down to one pathetic reason. They want to be liked. Let me save you 10 years of frustration. Your team does not need another friend. They have friends. They need a leader. If you prioritize being liked over being effective, you will end up with a team that likes you exactly until the moment they find a better job. Machiavelli observed that people are ungrateful, fickle, and deceptive. They will break the bond the second it serves them. The only thing that actually holds people together is the cold, hard reality of consequences. I am not talking about everyone here. There certainly are reasonable and genuine people who are high on emotional intelligence, and of course, this is not a conversation that pertains to them. We're talking about conflicts here. We need to completely redefine what conflict actually is. Most managers treat a necessary conversation like a bomb. They think if they pull the pin, the team will explode. But conflict isn't a bomb. It's a scalpel. It cuts out the infection so the rest of the body can survive. When you refuse to use the scalpel, the infection spreads. The high performer watches the low performer get away with their slack, and they think to themselves, why am I carrying this person? The quiet employee watches the loud, obnoxious employee dominate meetings, and they realize that in your world, volume beats value. Every time you avoid a difficult conversation, you are taking a little bit of credibility from the people who are actually doing the right thing. There is also a hidden psychological trap here. Leaders think that if they wait long enough, the problem will fix itself. The employee will magically realize their mistakes. It never fades away. Bad behavior that goes unaddressed only does one thing. It escalates. People learn through patterns, not hints. If you let a small boundary slide, you have just redrawn the line. By ignoring small infractions, you are allowing 1,000 tiny cuts to your authority. And the person crossing the line now knows exactly how far they can push you next time. The most powerful leaders understand something very counterintuitive. Your team doesn't want you to avoid conflict. They are terrified of a leader who does. Confused? Let me make it easier for you. Think about the last time you saw a manager let someone walk all over them. Did you respect that manager? No, you felt embarrassed for them. And you immediately calculated that you could probably get away with cutting corners too. On that note, do listen in to the episode 1 where we learned why people don't respect managers and how to fix that. Back to our topic. When a leader finally steps up, takes the stand against the bad behavior and says, "This behavior stops today," the immediate reaction in the room isn't fear, it is relief. Your high performers breathe a sigh of relief because they finally see that someone has taken charge of the ship, if you will. Now, executing this doesn't require aggression. It requires inevitability. Machiavelli advised that a prince should never be hated. You do not walk into a room screaming. Screaming proves you lost control of your emotions. You walk in with cold, calm clarity. You do not attack their character. You attack their behavior. There is a massive difference. You do not say, "You are lazy." That invites a fight. You say, "This deadline was missed, and I need to understand exactly why." You do not say, "You are disrespectful." You say, "That comment in the meeting was inappropriate, and it will not happen again." Notice the shift. You aren't judging who they are. You are judging what they did. Actions can be corrected. Character judgments just create resentment. The other mistake managers make is waiting too long to have the conversation. If an incident happens on Tuesday, you do not wait until Friday to address it. If you wait, you lose the impact. The team assumes you condoned it. You address it in real time, calmly, directly, without hesitation. Let's pause. The tone of this meeting just changed, and we are going to reset right now. That single moment of intervention tells everyone in the room that you are awake, you are paying attention, and you will not let things slide. There is also a personal cost to avoiding conflict that nobody talks about. It destroys your own self-respect. Every time you walk away from a situation you know you should handle, you chip away at your own authority. You know you compromised. Your team knows you compromised. Machiavelli wrote that a leader who is seen as indecisive will always be despised. The buck doesn't stop there. When you know you compromised, it makes you insecure. Insecure leaders micromanage. They over-explain. They rely on their title instead of their presence. All of that insecurity traces right back to the moment you decided your comfort was more important than your standards. The solution is not to become a tyrant. You must build a reputation where your team knows with absolute certainty that poor behavior will be addressed. Not with a lecture, not with anger, but with a calm, unavoidable conversation. When people know a boundary is made of concrete, they stop kicking it. They don't stop because they fear you. They stop because the cost of crossing it is no longer worth the reward. If you want to build a team of people who actually trust you, you have to be willing to be the bad guy for a little bit. Because the leader who never rocks the boat isn't keeping the boat safe. They are just making sure it slowly sinks. Silence is not a strategy. It is a symptom of a leader who has lost their nerve. The next time you feel that knot in your stomach, that urge to just let it slide to avoid an awkward conversation, ask yourself one question. Who am I really protecting right now? Am I protecting them from discomfort? Or am I protecting myself from doing my job? Stop being the silent killer. Say the thing. Say it calmly. And watch your real leaders stand up. That was a tiny but hopefully another effective nugget on All Things Leadership podcast. Let me know what you feel about this. Does this resonate with you? Do you have another opinion or another strategy that has worked better in your experience? One way or another, let's engage. Speaking of which, why don't you hit a like and share this with someone who may need it? Subscribe to the Learner Abhi on YouTube and Instagram while I go prep for our next episode on All Things Leadership.